Hello everyone and welcome to the penultimate round of this year's Tata Steel Masters edition. Of course, that means that this is round 12 and there will be only the final round after this one. So everything is on the line. Very good chances for winning the tournament. Still not just for Gukesh but also for Praggnanandhaa, for Nodirbek Abdusatorov. Maybe some others have a chance as well. It all depends on how Gukesh plays. For example, if Gukesh wins his next two games, it doesn't matter how everyone else plays. But this is one of the first games that finished from the penultimate round. And it's just not a game that you would expect in a penultimate round. You'd expect a 6-hour grueling grind, but this is a miniature, well, to put it best, and one that we haven't seen in quite a while. And yeah, even in this tournament, something like this, I mean, for a classical game, you guys will really enjoy this one. So let's dive straight into it. Prague, coming off of 2 wins, opens with pawn to d4. Alexei is coming off of 2 losses, so of course he would very much love a win with the black pieces here. We have knight f6, pawn to c4, e6, knight to c3, and d5. So a standard queen's gambit declined. Again, the queen's knight variation. C captures, we have an exchange variation, and bishop to g5. We have pawn to c6, the so-called modern variation, and queen to c2. And it's a pretty standard position, thousands of games with bishop to e7 in the database, but here we have bishop to e6. It's fairly rare and in top-level chess almost unheard of. There is a game where Surya Shekhar Ganguly played it against Vincent Keimer and got a draw, and a couple of people lost with this move. So okay, pawn to e3, knight b to d7, and now bishop to e2 by Prague. Bishop to d3, of course, makes more sense, and it's the move that everyone plays in this position. But interestingly, the engine does not like bishop to d3. The engine says you should play f3 or h3 or bishop to e2, the move that Prague plays. So Prague really trying to confuse Alexei here, and Alexei just continues with bishop to d6, spending some almost 10 minutes on this move, and now, believe it or not, Prague brings the bishop back to d3. So the reason for this is that he wanted to see where Alexei would develop the dark square bishop. By developing it to d6 instead of e7, the knight on f6 is no longer fighting for the center, and now e4 is an idea. With the bishop being on d6, then pawn to e5, black will have to react to this somehow, and of course Prague has something prepared for this. So Alexei immediately counters with pawn to h6, bishop to h4, pawn to g5, bishop to g3, and he trades off the bishops. We have captures, and now queen to e7, signaling that he is obviously going queenside. We have knight to f3, pawn to g4, and now a knight to h4. We have knight to b6 and castles kingside by Prague. We have castles queenside by Alexei, and if you look at the position now, of course the castles are on opposite sides of the board. You know that it's going to be a race, but if you think about the position a little bit, how is Alexei to attack Prague's kingside? You can't push the g pawn, you can't push the h pawn, you can maybe move the knight and push the f pawn, but you know, why? So it's very hard to even imagine an attack taking place on the king side. Whereas Prague, well, his plan is pretty clear. He's just going to push pawns, a4, b4, a5, b5, and go after the black king. So let's see what happens. We have king to b8, pawn to a5, knight to c4, and knight to a4. The knight, of course, coming to c5. We have knight to d6 and knight to c5. So it's as if Prague was getting free moves in. There is nothing Alexei can do to go after the white king, whereas Prague can improve his position immensely before going after the black king. And this is the danger of playing engine-approved positions. If you ask the engine will say this is completely equal. Well, yes, it is completely equal if you can defend like an engine, which means that tactics are not an issue. Well, engines really struggle more with you know, with strategy, with long-term plans. Calculation is not a problem for the engine. So the engine will say this is a 0-0-0 position, but defending this with black, I don't think anyone would feel this is a 0-0-0 position. So pawn to a6, stopping pawn to a6 from Prague, and now we have rook f to c1. Bishop to c8, adding another defender, and now queen to b3, already with a threat of knight captures or bishop captures as the b pawn is pinned. So the way to defend is king to a8, but Alexei played knight to b5, and now Prague is already winning. Believe it or not, it's move 21, Prague is winning, but I'm not just going to tell you what Prague played or may not have played. Feel free to pause the video and win the game for Prague while I give you a couple of seconds. The move in question is, of course, queen captures on d5. I'm only kidding, of course. Knight captures on a6 is the move, and no doubt that's the one that you thought of. If any of you actually considered this, I commend you. You are a legend. B captures on a6, and now rook captures on c6. And now from all of those pawns that were defending Alexei's king, only the a6 pawn remains, and that will be, swiftly dealt with. The bishop captures on b5 is coming next. Rook to d7, and now knight to f5. Even bringing a knight into the game before grabbing the knight on b5. Queen to d8, and now bishop captures on b5. A captures, and now pawn to a6. Queen captures on b5 is also possible, but you require a very, very precise line, like rook to b6, queen to c7, and now knight to e7. You have to find this knight move, and then it's, again, completely winning, because you're going to play queen a6 and knight to c6. And, of course, if queen captures, then you no longer have to worry about this. And after queen captures with check, king a8, rook to c1. It is a disgusting forcing line, but it is winning, just in case you were wondering. But Pragg goes for pawn to a6. It's, in fact, a much stronger move, as there really isn't anything to be played here. So rook to a7, stopping the pawn from being pushed further. And now look at this. Queen captures on b5 with check, king to a8, and now knight to d6. And look at this, a beautiful move. Bishop to d7, but this move is met with an even more beautiful move. Feel free to pause the video and win the game for Pragg while I give you a couple of seconds. The move in question is queen to b7 with check. And I'm not even kidding this time. It is actually the move. This was Pragg played. I allowed the exclamation mark, the double exclamation mark, to remain, as it is a beautiful move to see. And it was in this position on move 29 that Alexei Sarana resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Your only move is to capture the queen, and that will be met with a captures on b7 check. Only move king b8, and the rook to a8 will be checkmate. The knight covers b7, the rook controls c7, the rook delivers check, and that is one beautiful checkmate, which means that Pragg, by winning his third game in a row, takes a lead, takes control over the Tata Steel 2025. He's now half a point ahead of Gukesh, which means that Gukesh needs at least a draw to catch up to Pragg. He cannot lose his game, and well, like I said in the beginning of the video, should Gukesh win this one and the next one, of course he wins the entire Tata Steel. But Pragg is on a row. He will face Vincent Keimer in the final round, and if Gukesh does not win in this round, Pragg has excellent chances of either winning or tying for first place, and then we're gonna have a playoff. So very, very exciting day tomorrow. We'll see what happens, and I will keep you guys informed what happens in the other rounds. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank John Tardif, Pierre Murad, Rani Lavi, Andreas Rosenthal, and Andrei Shrade for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions, but mostly covering Tata Steel until it finishes. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.